Hello, fabulous Libra. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of April 2014, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Well, this month features a full moon eclipse happening in your sign right in the middle of the month, and this is by far the standout moment for you. And I do think that this signals a significant change for you, regardless of where you're born in the sign of Libra. And it does suggest a time when you understand what is no longer part of your path. It is a time of closure, it's very close to the heart. Now, if you consider the metaphor of the eclipse, okay, the symbolism, if you will, which ultimately is what astrology is. It is all about symbolism. And so, if you think about what actually happens during a lunar eclipse, there's the light of the moon, and then the light of the moon is blocked, and then it is revealed again in a relatively short span of time. Now, what this means is, it is as if, and the moon being a symbol of emotion, it is as if you've known something all along, you felt it to be true all along, and maybe it's been right there in your face, but you have not fully acknowledged it. You have not fully appreciated it. And it is almost as if something within you, a perspective, becomes undoubtable. It is as if the universe tries to get your attention and says, look at this clearly. And that's really what it is. It is you looking at a thing again and seeing it clearly, seeing the light clearly, as you didn't before, really. Now, I do want to get a little bit technical here, if I may, for those of you who are students of astrology, because some of the interactions I've been having with you guys online, I appreciate so much. I love interacting with you on social media, but you guys have been asking me for more technical stuff, okay, for me to explain more about why it is I'm making the interpretations that I am based on the celestial phenomenon. And so I do want to say, just for a very split second, I will say that what I find really interesting about what's taking place with this eclipse is, other than just brushing past Mars, meeting Mars in the sky, and then moving forward before becoming exact, before reaching its exact, precise moment, what's really interesting is that other than that brush past Mars, this particular eclipse is not making any classical aspects. Now, to me, personally, if something is supposed to happen, if something is happening, then you should be able to see it using the classical aspect. There are lots of minor aspects out there, but to me, I rely more, personally, as part of my practice. I think that the strength and the undeniability of the classic aspects are really where the heart of prediction is. And so think about that. Think about that symbolism. Here's this eclipse happening, essentially isolated from the rest of the sky, not really making any conversations, not reaching out to any other planets. And this does suggest a certain isolation. This does suggest a certain understanding within yourself. Mars is already retrograde, asking you to look within, asking you to contemplate, asking you to look at the true source of your motivations, the true source of your attractions, especially the energetic kind, and the true source of what motivates you, how it is that you're actually directing your energy into the world. Are you coming at it from a place of wholeness? If you think about the symbolism of Mars, Mars and the glyph of Mars is a circle with an arrow coming out of it. Are you connected to that circle of wholeness enough to wisely direct your energy? That's part of what this particular eclipse is going to ask. But ultimately, it's almost as if that part of you is awakened, and then it comes right to emotion. It comes right to what you've really been feeling, right what you've known all along. And it does suggest to me that some aspect of the way that you've been behaving in the world, the way you've been exerting your energy in the world, is about to get undeniably clear and reach right to the heart of you. Now, as I said, with lunar eclipses, they do tend to denote closures, okay? With no significant conversations taking place at the same time, it does suggest that it's not like any real outside motivation is coming at you. It's not like someone else is doing something and that's what triggers this. It's not like you are going out there and doing something as a result of what you realize. It's more of a personal understanding. It's more of a shift in energy that has to take place, which does suggest to me that, and added to the fact that Mars is associated with basic instincts that we have, and that Mars is retrograde, it does suggest to me that this whole idea of you already knowing of events already having transpired, of you already feeling, of you already having seen what you need to see is pretty clear. It's just that you have not fully appreciated it. You have not fully acknowledged what has been and what you have been feeling, what the reality of the actual situation is. What I love about this particular eclipse is you do just that. You get it. Based on what has happened before, based on where you have already been, you experience a shift of energy that is highly personal, but finally allows you to create the space that you need to so that something new and wonderful can come in. Now, do keep in mind that you're starting this month with a particularly powerful new moon in your opposite sign. Now, I spoke about this last month in the monthly horoscopes. In the love horoscopes, and I'll be speaking about it in this month's love horoscopes as well. But let's say that this does denote that a lot of this understanding is going to be based on the experiences you're having one-on-one with other people. It is as if perhaps they've already been clear. Perhaps they've already provided the triggers that you need. It's just that it's taken you a while to fully assimilate, to fully understand. What I'm seeing especially notably is a full ownership of your part in whatever was before, whatever it is that you need to release. And very often, what we do need to release is resentment. And what we do need to release is is not necessarily the understanding, but when you stay in a situation much long after it should have ended, whether practically stay in it or energetically stay in it, which is much more likely here, when you do that, then what ends up happening is that it stays alive. It stays a part of your present, and it determines the direction in which you're going in your future. That's the journey that you've been on, and that's the journey that is going to be positively interrupted. Whatever it is that needs to leave, let it go. That's the best advice I can give you now. Let it go. Allow the universe to create space in your life, because what's coming up ahead is actually really exciting. Just a little bit further down the road, we've got some amazing things happening. And actually, amazing things start happening by the end of the month when we have an eclipse taking place, a really positive eclipse, actually, happening in a financial area of the chart, and next month with such a strong financial focus. It does suggest to me that the shifts that are happening now, what it is that you let go of, is going to be part of you creating greater prosperity for yourself. And I'm going to just put this out there, okay? Because I do think that considering that you are a cardinal sign, and we are going through, again, getting a little technical here, we are going through the cardinal cross, and we had this new moon, the new moon, which energy you're starting the month with, actually activated planets in key positions in the cardinal signs. It does suggest that a part of you is feeling tension for change, but also I gotta say that it's like, you know, that change has to happen. And my feeling is, considering that there's so much financial energy coming up by the end of the month, you're having this important shift take place within you in this financial energy. I think that if you've had any trouble, okay, with bosses that you haven't particularly liked, especially where it comes to your career, if there's been any dissatisfaction or lack of support, or just feeling that you're in a path that isn't really resonating with where it is that you're meant to go, or who it is that ultimately you truly are, this full moon is going to allow you to create space for something new to enter. And I do think that for a lot of Libras out there, this is going to include the possibility, and I'm just saying, this is going to include changes in your career direction. So I'm not seeing so much like job energy per se, okay? But when I consider the fact that there is so much tension and dissatisfaction with one particular way in which the career path may be going, and thinking about how the career is impacting what's happening on a level of your foundation, thinking about yourself on a level of how this is speaking with a partner and love, all these areas of life are going through significant changes for you now and creating a lot of energy for change. And so I do think that the possibility of you being with a boss that you don't really like is there, or the possibility of you just being dissatisfied is there as well. And ultimately, this energy is about you creating the space, whether it happens practically, which for some of you that might happen with you giving 2 weeks notice, because again, I'm not seeing external things happening from the outside. It's you that's having the understanding. And so it's going to be you, in my opinion, as I look at this, I think it's going to be you that understands what needs to go. If you're in a job that you hate or with a boss that you hate, it's going to be you that understands that this isn't the path I want to walk anymore. And that in turn is going to create space for the financial opportunities to find you. Doesn't mean that you necessarily have to leave your job, but I do think that it's really on a level of your understanding that allows the space to be created. As I said, towards the end of the month, and you will be carrying this energy into next month, we have this important eclipse happening that's going to be speaking to your financial life. And I'll be speaking more about this in your horoscope for next month. But I do think that as the month ends, you can expect some financial opportunity to appear. Now, this type of financial opportunity is the type of money you earn, okay? So it's about you actually getting a new job or getting an increase in responsibilities or getting some sort of promotion even as well that creates greater prosperity for yourself and allows you greater ability to provide for your own needs. Keep it about the personal process, because ultimately that is where the secret lies for you to eventually experience that prosperity. The eclipse happening at the end of the month is speaking to a lot of different power players. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of faith with it. And so it does look like the opportunity does present itself and you have to run with it, and run with it you do, because you've let go of some baggage that's been weighing you down. And once you do that, you will have a renewed energy and a renewed lightness to take the opportunity and translate it into greater prosperity for yourself at the end of the month. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.